And we're back. Hello, everybody. Thanks for letting us take a quick break. Let's get on to the second half. Steve, take it away.
Where is everybody? Where's everybody currently?
So, currently, Anissa is pretending to chit-chat with a local noble, trying to overhear on the wizard and King Joe's conversation. Tommy is positioned himself near a decorative suit of armor with a pike, just in case he needs to grab a weapon and shank a fool. And Joe the bear is where during all of this time? Standing, looking around nervously, scratching his hairy belly.
The last thing I did was guidance to Anissa. I haven't done anything since.
It's true.
If there's something else that needs to... For this phase of the heist, what is the next thing that needs to happen?
Usually by the arrow case, just
yeah, leaning right next to
the arrow.
Leaning next to the arrow case, all right. And the unnamed cat is scouring Kabumpo's room looking for his journal, of which he's managed to find Jack and Diddley. This is certainly where he directed you, I guess it would be.
Are you waiting for me to do something, or?
Yeah, you didn't find it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna there's gonna be a trap, or I was gonna somebody's gonna walk in the room, or
you open the last drawer, expectant for it to be there, and it's filled with buttons.
Are there any bows nearby?
Bows, sure. Go ahead and so you look around the room and you find that there's indeed decorative bows all around on each of the curtain heads that are above the windows.
Okay, would that be something he could reach with his trunk? He could reach something?
He could reach it with his hand. He's that tall.
All right, great. So I want to climb up and look behind each of the bows.
You're gonna climb up the curtains as a cat, and poke at the bows.
I mean, am I wrong? He said he puts a bow on it at the end of the day. I mean, am I reading too much into that?
That is indeed what he did. And up behind there, you find that one of the bows is actually attached to a chain.
Okay.
And when you tug on it, it opens a false wall.
Yes. I listened. I paid attention. Okay, cool. And I find the book in the false wall?
And inside the room, you find a whole smattering of chests.
Oh no, does one of them have two crossed swords and it's golden?
In one, it does indeed.
Shit.
And it's rather large.
Oh, rather large. That's
I can't take it by myself, I assume, right? It's too big for me to carry?
It is too big for you to lift.
Well, then I don't feel bad about not fulfilling my favor at this exact moment because I can't take it, so... I take the book and I leave the golden chest, but I remember where it is.
I actually take it back. You have the bag of holding, yes?
Oh, now you're just making you're trying to set up a moral choice. Is what you're trying to do.
No, I'm just saying you could, rather than pick it up, you can put the bag of holding over it.
Yeah.
Right.
You're trying to set up a moral choice.
No moral choices here.
You're trying to master this game.
Hilarious.
There's other chests too. Why don't you open all the chests? Take everything that's in all of them. I don't understand.
The only reason I've got the chest right now is because Kabumpo was nice and helped us. I don't want to betray his trust by taking his things.
He doesn't even know who you are.
I don't care if he knows who I am. It's not about him knowing me. It's about trust. But I promised another guy. That guy tricked me. That's what happened. He foresaw this situation. And that means he also foresaw the way in which I would be in this room. So that means he foresaw making me take this chest, knowing that I would have to betray Kabumpo's trust.
Layers upon layers.
So much foresawing.
All right, well, I'm a man of my word in more ways than one, so I take the golden chest with the bag of holding.
Okay.
And I take the book.
Okay.
And I actually I don't.
We are going to steal his diary.
I skimmed the book looking for the part where he's talking about resetting the password.
Indeed. So you're scanning through it, and you find several pages in the back of the journal that is a codex of numbers. He's obviously has some sort of cipher that he has set up for the password.
Riddles.
Can I, like, is this something I roll to crack it, or is this something you want me as a person to crack it? Or
No, because I'm assuming, no offense, Riley, but your genius character is probably smarter than you are.
It's probably true.
And very good with this type of issue. So I'm going to just have
Really
you roll.
funny.
Roll what?
It will be a intelligence check.
Unskilled intelligence.
Unskilled
A save or unskilled?
Unskilled. So with a 10, you are hitting a wall.
Wait, what? I haven't rolled yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was your investigation check from before.
14?
14. 14 still not going to be enough.
Okay.
You're hitting a wall. You know that there is some sort of key that needs to get fed into the cipher that would crack it, basically, a way of translating the cipher. And it's numbers and letters. But, no, I take that back. No numbers. It's all letters. So you're fairly sure there's probably some alphanumeric key that would unlock this passphrase.
Is it the word kabumpo?
It is not the word kabumpo.
God save the king.
It is not God Save the King.
What do you want me? You want me to keep rolling and rolling and rolling until I get it? I mean, I don't know what you want me to
No,
do.
you at this point you were not able to crack it through sheer brute force of your understanding of the mechanics of how this worked. So you need some roleplay wise to figure out
Roleplay wise, though.
what would this guy use as a cipher key.
Trying to think back to our earlier conversation and what exactly he said. What's the name of the kingdom?
Pumperdink.
Is it Pumperdink?
It is not Pumperdink.
Is it?
No, that feels right.
The name of the prince. Pump. Whatever.
Pompadour. It is Pompadour.
Oh, hooray!
And as you sketch it out in your mind, ciphering through the choices, you uncover it in its expletive is the password that I'm not actually good to say live on the air. The wizard is.
What letter does the expletive begin with?
F the wizard is what the key is.
Pretty common.
So now we know for a fact he doesn't like the wizard. That's good. That's good. Okay, great. I take this knowledge and I guess I'm going to have to get past those guards in the hall to get back to if I want to go back to where everybody else is.
Indeed, you do.
What if I were to jump out? We use feather fall to jump down.
That would be perfectly fine.
Would I be able to get back in without going past any more guards?
Indeed, you would. It would drop you down to the garden where you were before, where you separated from your friends.
Okay, I'll do that then. I'll use a spell too, so I have to.
So
wait,
you cast feather fall.
Is it just one story though? You could drop a story if you're a cat.
It's further than that. It's probably 2.5 stories.
It's fine. I'll use this. I can use a spell. It's fine.
How far can I?
The reason there aren't guards under there is because they're assuming people can't get up that high.
I see.
Okay, cool. So I drop down and I go back into the. I find. I go over by Tommy, I guess.
Sure. So you enter into the ballroom and notice all of a sudden there's all manner of Imperial soldiers in the room, and your eyes lock with the wizard.
No, I don't. I want to say I avoided him completely.
The moment you walk into the room, you feel the detection spell that
you cannot be surprised.
Running.
I cannot be surprised by the wizard. Oh crap! So he looks right at me, like
He looks straight at you the moment you walk into the room, and you feel his magical spell that he's cast that's been trying to track you. Come home, and all of the magics that you've been using to hide yourself fail in his presence.
Okay, then what happens?
He looks at you, and then goes back to his conversation with the king.
What?
Okay. I go over by Tommy.
But he still looks like a cat.
Indeed.
Okay. But the wizard just knows who he is. It doesn't do anything about it. But I don't know that, so never mind. As long as he doesn't look like a cat. I just need to know if he looks like a cat
I
or
go
not.
to Tommy, because Tommy's the person I trust the most of this party. And I say, Tommy, we need to have a conversation.
It's like, well, right now, I don't know if you noticed, but the wizard's right over there.
That's why we need to have a conversation, Tommy. And I pull Tommy kind of over, like, is there like a kind of a place where we can be a bit alone, like a less...
No, this place is packed. There's
back
so
out in the
many
garden,
people at this
maybe?
party.
Or no?
Yeah, maybe if you
Be a bit
dragged
alone.
him back out to the garden.
I drag him back to the garden, and I just say, Tommy, the wizard is looking for me.
Why is he looking for you?
Because it's complicated, but I may know a lot about him, and he's afraid that I may be able to bring him down.
Well, that's great. Right now we need to get the arrow and get out of here, right? Can we talk about this later?
Yeah, but he knows I'm here now.
We still need to get the arrow and get out of here.
Well, I'm
That
just
doesn't change.
saying, okay, I just want to let you know so that when the wizard comes and attacks all of us and kills us all, I just want to let you know that's why, because he saw me, so it may not be safe for you guys to be seen with me at this point.
And as you're having this conversation, the wizard comes into the courtyard,
Of course he does.
flanked by soldiers, and a large population of the party moves with him out into the garden as if he's the sun by which the party is now orbiting. And
Yeah.
as he moves, the party moves, leaving the rest of the other two rooms, the dance floor and the main gala hall, much less populated than it was a
So-
few minutes.
I back off from the crowd and start looking around for weapons like Tommy was.
So you have your knife,
Okay.
and you obviously don't have your rapier, but your knife's probably the best. The one that you smuggled in is probably better than anything you could find.
And do I have the ability to... I know I didn't say it, but I'm going to assume that I would have worn pants under this ridiculous skirt so that I
assuming
could...
I'm sure
get
you have
out.
a petticoat under there anyway.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I can't fight in that thing.
Okay. So...
Did you get the passphrase? I guess
I know
said
the
you-
passphrase. I'm trying to figure out how do I get the passphrase to Anissa. I
I
tell the
feel-
passphrase. As soon as I see the wizard come out in the garden, I say, Tommy, okay. I say, the passphrase is F the wizard. Go tell Anissa. And then just, do they let Tommy go by because they don't care about Tommy? Or
They indeed will let Tommy by.
Okay, great. So it's just me versus the wizard out in the courtyard, out in the garden, and everybody else is back in the room.
So the line that's starting to form to like speak with the wizard, he excuses them and walks right over to the cat and sits down on a bench next to you and says, "Hello, old friend."
I say, you've got a lot of gall calling me that after what you put me through.
And what have I done to you that is an old hat at this point? I would think you're used to the inside of cages.
I don't like being in cages. I like getting out of cages.
Well,
I say,
evidently isn't something you excel at.
well,
Since
that's
you
true.
seem to end up back in them every time you turn around.
Well, that's true. And I look at him and I say, Adam, what are you doing?
I'm visiting my kingdom, and perhaps I might be looking for you. I hear you slipped your keeper.
You should have known that no one could hold me there for very long.
Nobody hold me down.
Perhaps I overestimated Mombi's talents.
Did you overestimate her or did you underestimate me?
So much snark. Snark is real.
And I say, look at what you're doing to everyone in this kingdom. And I bring up the marble men again, and I say, you're turning people into stone to use them as weapons. Is that really what you want to be doing?
Can you think of a more efficient way to bring all of these destructive forces throughout the kingdom under bear? This,
Destructive forces, you're the most destructive force in the kingdom.
they've said that about every unifier. since the dawn of time. What did they say about Caesar or the great Khans of the Mongolian hordes?
Because throughout my travels, the only thing I keep hearing is about Marblemen attacking things, skeevers blowing up things. Then I find skeevers in your prison.
They're serving their uses. But you can't tell me, you of all people, that Oz wouldn't be a better place without all of the witches and wizards.
There are certainly elements of witches and wizards that are evil, and there's no doubt about that. But you don't seem to be as concerned about helping the good ones stick around as I was.
Oh, so now you're making a distinction now between good and evil witches? Last time we talked, which wasn't that long ago, you were ready to wipe every witch off of the face of Oz. Has your position on that changed, old friend?
After what I've been through, I'm starting to realize that people aren't as black and white as they seem. And perhaps that should apply to you as well, is my hope. But the way you're talking, I'm not sure that it does.
It's a shame that you couldn't ever share my vision, because I think we want the same thing. It's why you used to help me so greatly.
I regret a lot of things I did back then.
Did you do?
All right, so cut back to the party. The three of you milling around the glass container. And what? What's the plan?
So
I get this arrow.
we need to say the thing and then put the key in, or put the key in and then say the thing, or do it at the same time?
F the wizard, F the wizard, F the wizard, F the wizard.
That's basically it. Do I have any, since I'm a thief, do I have any perception on how to handle this properly?
Absolutely. Why don't you go ahead and give me a wisdom check with your proficiency bonus. So a skilled perception check. A proficient wisdom check.
Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, so at the bottom of the skills page, there's a section of use a wisdom skill with proficiency or no proficiency.
Wisdom check, yes.
And not just jack of all trades, but you'll have one more to it.
Okay, cool.
So you can tell that even with as many people who have left, there are still enough eyes in this room that the moment you went for this arrow, someone would notice, unless there was some other kind of distraction.
Okay.
Go, go, Dancing Bear Show!
Yeah. I tell Tommy and Richard we need a distraction and ask for their advice.
Well,
Okay.
I'm a magician too, Riley. I'm not just a bumbling bear. Without as constantly as you refuse to demean yourself, you're very willing for me to demean myself.
I'm not even in this conversation, so just do whatever you want.
What do I want to do? I don't know.
Can either of you?
I go and I start dancing by myself in the middle of the
break dancing.
I do like 1920
dancing.
Like swing dance?
Yeah, swing dancing.
Like
Charleston,
awesome.
I can pass a thing to increase stealth and just stealth us out of here. There's no penalty about casting it around people.
No. So you can so you bless Tommy and let him go do a distraction, and then you're going to cast a stealthy spell on you and Anissa to try and get you and her to steal the thing and get out?
Yeah.
That sounds like a great plan. So, and Tommy's plan is he's going to go to the band, ask them to kick it up a notch, and then he's going to grab a girl and go swing dancing on the floor and make a big splashy scene. So go ahead and give me a charisma roll with I'll give you advantage, and you're going to get a D4 to it. But it's got to be a pretty good distraction.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. 20. Good distraction.
Nice.
So out goes the swing dancing, and this girl's never swung danced in her life before. This noble girl that you just grabbed off the wall, right? But you're leading her through the steps, and she's laughing and having a great time, and it is pulling a lot of people's eyes to you. Even still, you're talking about doing this in a room with maybe 30 plus people. So Anissa is going to need to make a stealth check, of which she gets a +10 to. However, she still needs to get a 20. And the 20 is what you get on the dot.
Thank God.
With the magical
Good job,
spell
Joe.
that Joe has on the room.
These are supposed to be the things I'm the best at, too.
And so you open the case, slide out the arrow, and close the case. Just as a waiter turns around to offer you a drink.
I quickly take the drink and say thanks, and
All right.
continue to join Tommy so that I can. I cut in.
Me out.
I cut in, and then I say, "Let's go." And
And then we it's over.
All right.
These are the jokes, folks, and we exit stage left.
Exit stage left.
What about the cat? You're gonna leave the cat behind?
we can't
Isn't there one
help
way
you
out?
now.
Are we leaving? Are we going that way to get the cat? Are we picking the cat up?
You're going to pass by the outside gate of the garden. Remember, you saw the Imperial soldiers walking that way?
Sure.
So the cat sees his friends outside.
Well,
of
I'm
the
trying
gate.
to make eye contact with him and
Right.
be like,
And they flash you the "it's done
Yeah.
wink. But they're clear of the party now, and you're left in a courtroom filled with soldiers and the wizard.
Great. Thanks, guys. Way to go. Fantastic.
we're not like leaving. Maybe we're just hiding outside the gate. I'll jump
we're
back
good.
in.
It's fine. This is what happens when I help people. It's like I have trust issues already. It's fine.
Can we roleplay like if we're standing outside the gate and we see if he can try to leave?
Sure. So you're like kind of like milling around just outside the party.
Yeah.
You know, where you kind of have a sight line on.
Doing that slow walk by the opening so he knows.
Right.
You know.
A lot of people are congratulating me on how good a dancer I am. I'm like, yeah.
And so the wizard and you are mid conversation. He's saying, "It's disappointing that you weren't able to ever see my vision, the one that involves an Oz where no one suffers from mad magicians trying to each create their own individual kingdoms through the might of their magic alone. And there are no laws that govern the use of those magics, where people like your family are innocent victims."
You can tell this is greatly affecting me. Like that's my weak spot. And he's poking it. So, I mean, I'm just like, I say maybe you're right. I don't know what the correct answer is, but I do know that I can't justify one major wrong, taking innocent people and turning them into mechanical. Stealing their souls away and turning them into mechanical robots, or whatever I would say, golems, to justify your vision coming to pass. Even if your vision might end up being the way that keeps everyone safe in the end, the means by which you arrive at that end do matter.
Do they?
Apparently they do to me.
What I just said. They do.
Listen when I speak.
I would like to not be a cat anymore, for starters. That's an example of an end not justify, or a means not justifying an end.
That wasn't your choice?
That's the
so many things.
That is a consequence of choices you made when you chose to part ways with my company.
I chose to go looking. I chose to go looking for my sister, and left you behind temporarily. But apparently, you can't take anyone leaving your side for more than 5 seconds. That to me, that sounds like someone who's out of control. Don't you pride yourself on being in control of the situation?
Indeed. And I could have given you a different home. Would you have preferred I sent you to Sky Island instead of to the Witch?
I've already been there. It wasn't a very nice place.
So it depends on the choices you make right now where you go next. Would you like to return to your cage? Or would you like to visit the labs again?
Why are you keeping me around? Why don't you just why do I get a choice?
I was fond of you once.
I'm not super interested in sticking around to be your plaything.
So does that mean you're choosing the lab? You've seen what happens there.
I kind of shudder, like there's a shiver that goes up my spine. And I kind of look, who can I see? I can see like Anissa, and I'm like...
You could see Anissa, right?
I'm like looking at her, and she can see like there's like this great sadness in my eyes. Like, clearly this conversation is hard for me. And I just say, I guess I'll go back in the cage.
Very well. And then out of magic, a wooden cage appears, and he sets it on the ground and opens it.
I mean, just to make sure that I'm not walking into something I can possibly get out of, the wizard is here, I'm surrounded by like 100 guards, and there's like...
Unless you had some sort of magical solution, and or Anissa could rescue you from the jaws of certain trapdom, it looks very grim.
I mean, I don't know what magical solution I could possibly have. I'm not more powerful than the wizard in my current state, for sure, so I would think anything against him would be futile.
Certainly an attack would be ill-advised.
Anybody? So you guys see this cage? Anybody gonna rescue me, or I mean, you're just gonna let me get?
You said there's 100 soldiers in this courtyard between us and you. Right?
I would say about a dozen.
A dozen.
Certainly enough that fighting through them would be.
Sorry, I'll be right back.
Very, 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 very dangerous.
How much familiarity do I have with the wizard?
Certain death.
Any? I don't think I have any.
You've never met him before.
Okay.
How about no?
Can we bumble our way?
I guess I would. Tommy would try to trade places with Orbane. But am I valuable to the wizard?
Well, I mean...
Tommy is, but I'm not really Tommy. So
he had people looking for Tommy.
But I'm not Tommy.
But I mean, if you run in, we're just giving them both of you, right?
But then what would Orbane want? Would Orbane want me to sacrifice myself, switch places with him?
Your door's still open, Riley.
I mean, let me just put it this way. My character does not want to go in that cage and does not want to go back to his lab. So if there's anything I could see that would this sort of suicidal to get out of the situation, I would do it.
So go ahead and
make sure I'm not thinking
a wisdom check, since Riley's pulling up nothing. Let's see if Orbane, who's a very clever person who's been running and escaping most of his life,
all right, sounds good,
has at least contemplated that this situation might happen in his future.
13. Thought a little bit about it.
You have a spell called Expeditious Retreat.
I do.
That would allow you to flee right over these walls in an incredibly quick manner if the wizard didn't stop you. None of the guards could stop you, but the wizard certainly could. So you have an ace up your sleeve. You could suddenly skedaddle, but only if the wizard was distracted for a moment and couldn't counter your spell.
Time to drunkenly stumble in. Hey!
That's not a good idea. I mean, I don't want to escape, and then you guys end up getting, captured by him. So that's not super helpful. It's supposed to distract the wizard. I mean, minor illusion's not going to do it. I assume, minor illusion's not going to distract the wizard. So,
in fact, Anissa's pretty much the only person in a position to create that distraction right there at the gateway where she is. So, Stephanie,
I only have I have a terrible suggestion, and it's not what I'm gonna say out loud. I'll take it.
Do it. Just do it.
Can I flash him? Is what I was gonna say.
You could you could reveal that you've stolen the arrow. I bet that would
that's attention. That would get a lot of attention.
So
we reveal that. And
I would say then what I'll do is I will tell Tommy and Joe to get a head start and make their way back to some place that we all know. Do you guys have any suggestions? Because you guys, like, I'm gonna have to run, and I'm fast, so that's fine.
The only two places that you guys have in common now, other than the palace, which probably isn't the place you want to run to after a heist,
Caravan, right?
Are Oscar's Caravan or the Clavier's shop that you know would be closed.
Okay, go to the Oscar's Caravan. Yeah. And I'm gonna do something that. Oh, I think I have. Oh no, you said an illusion spell won't work because it's the wizard.
Well, I mean, I assume, right? Isn't there like a difficulty check that you have to? There's like a.
You'd have to beat his intelligence, and he's scary smart.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, because my thing is like, if I just go like this, hey, then he's like, probably gonna do something to get me, right? Immediately.
Well, I mean, the thing is that you do it on a surprise round, so you go, hey, and then you're going to get at least one round to run.
Okay.
Before.
So I will send them on their way, just so they can have a little further, and then I will.
And as the cat is resignedly walking slowly towards the wooden cage, what does Anissa do?
I walk so that I can tell the wizard could see me if he wanted to, and I grab the arrow and I just kind of hold it up a little so it's not all the way out to see if I can catch his eye.
Nope, that's too subtle.
And then I pull it out all the way and I whistle as loud as I can.
Rattle it against the gate. Go ahead and
then I
give
stuck it back in really fast
a persuasion check with a advantage. Yes, that is
what
what
comes down to this. Will the cat survive the encounter?
With advantage of a 21. Sure enough, gets the wizard to turn his head from Orbane, and his eyes that never have any kind of inflection, you see them narrow as he spots you with arrow, and you turn, and I'm
dexterous, so I'm like parkouring off shit, and like.
So you go Assassin's Creed style, run up the side of a building and jump off of a landing. So. Just as I'm assuming Orbane wants to.
Oh, I've taken this bodice off at this point. Before I did this, I took the skirt off.
2 20s! Not that those matter. I don't know why I just rolled 20s, because there's no rolling involved in the spell at all, but I rolled 2 20s for what it's worth. 2 natural 20s.
So you go sailing over the wall, and the wizard has a choice. He either casts a spell after Orbane, or he sends a spell after Anissa, and he chooses Anissa and the arrow. He launches into the air 2 creatures made out of living, flapping their wings the size of wyverns that fill the sky, and they're chasing Anissa across the rooftops, and you hear them screeching. And now you need to give me a acrobatics check as you jump from building to building, attempting to get away. 16's pretty good. So you hear them screeching, catching behind you, and one swoops down, but you manage to duck underneath it, and it takes off a giant chunk of the landing next to you. And you hear it roar in frustration as the other one loops around. How is Anissa getting far enough away or hiding from these things?
I am bounding as far as I can away, and then since the first one just missed me, I don't think I can hide yet. But as soon as I maybe evade the next one, I might try and duck away briefly to see if they can sense my...
So how are you going to keep these giant poison wyverns from getting on top of you?
I'm going to jump down and try to find somewhere to hide that has cover. Maybe. All
right, so you drop down into an alley, and you hear the wyvern land on the side of the building next to you, and it's scouring it for you as you're trying to beat a retreat, jumping over barrels and underneath beams. Go ahead and give me another acrobatics check. Still great. You're still avoiding them, but you're not losing them either. So you're running underneath, and you hear one of them hiss, and a poison sprays, melting the barrel just in front of you into pulpy paste. And you leap over it, dashing around the corner, and you hear the other one trying to cut you off up ahead, and you see its long, poisonous, barbed tail swing down through the alleyway, whisking just over your head, disturbing your hair with how close it got to your neck.
Are there any, like, doors that I can go in?
You want to, like, bust through a door and,
This is like
make
action
it through.
movie style. I'm gonna run through people's
Absolutely.
apartments in the buildings.
All right, you have to give me a athletics check with this one rather than acrobatics,
Oh,
which I know
God.
is not your strong suit. To knock open a door.
Can Joe or I hear the wyverns? Like, how far ahead
where
are we?
at?
There?
What's
Yeah, you're a goodly ways away, but you definitely see them on a tear out through the city. The thing is that Anissa is so fast, so much faster than both of you, that you guys would never catch up to her at this point now that she's taken off running.
What about the cat? Where'd the cat go?
I'll try one athletics check, and then I'm gonna look around for like balconies and see if I can jump up in if this doesn't work.
No, you manage to. She goes, kicks open the door, puts her whole weight behind it, and it splinters off of the lock as you dash through. To the shock of a whole bunch of scribes who are all working in their books by candlelight.
I apologize like profusely as I'm running through.
So I'm so sorry.
No, damn it! Like I try not to touch anything in their house, and
right,
I
as
throw.
you go through
I throw
all
like
of the pages
like
of all of
5
their
gold.
open books go fluttering from the wind behind you.
I'm throwing gold at them. Fix your door. I'm sorry. And then I throw 5 gold.
You get a stealth check, since you're underneath this building. Wow, 25. So there's you see the barbed tails puncture through the top of the roof, goosh, 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 as they're trying to poke you from inside. As the scribes go diving, ducking for cover, their tables knocked over, and you find a grate and pull it aside, and you drop down into their sewer, down through where their latrine would be. And it's not the most graceful exit you've ever made, but now from here in the sewers, you're very sure that those large flying beasts aren't going to be able to track you down here, and you make your escape out through the sewers and deeper into the city.
I try to make my way towards the caravan. Thank you.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
And so the three of you are in the seedy side of town, contemplating of what you can do to find Anissa, when you find her strolling your way, smelling vaguely of poo, but otherwise unharmed. And in a petticoat, obviously not a dainty lady anymore.
I'm not clean.
all that poo?
That's funny. All right, look at us. Pulled off a heist to get away from the wizard. Look at that.
Let's go kill It's a Giant.
And
Somebody catches us.
As you get to Oscar's wagon, you see the horses have been hitched up, and he is sitting at the head of the wagon, almost as if he anticipated your arrival, ready to take you immediately out of the city.
Awesome.
Is this Oscar Diggs?
Pleasure to meet you, he said.
Nobody picked up on that?
Hello?
Tom, you didn't pick up on that word Oscar? Like, that was like a big red flag?
And with that, we'll catch you all next week.
Remember this mysterious note? I'm showing the audience.
Oh no, I knew it was Oscar Diggs.
I did not.
You didn't say anything when you knew it was Oscar
You were
Diggs.
having your little debate moment. I mean,
Oh,
It's funny.
why would anybody but the wizard help us take on the other false wizard?
Duh.
Wizard fighting.
All right, that was pretty fun. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. We're happy to see you again. Thanks for letting us take a break last week. And we hope you watch us again. We'll be here next Thursday, right, guys?
I think so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. So stay tuned for more Lost in Oz. We will continue soon. Thanks for joining us.
VODs.
Watch the
We're gonna
VODs.
catch up.
Thanks for watching.
Have a great
Thanks,
have a great day. Bye bye.